Welcome to this amazing live stream. As you can see from the screen already, Jerry and I, who you will be familiar with from our live stream so far, are joined by the amazing Mike Tholfsen. If you don't know who Mike Tholfsen is by now, where have you been for over a decade? And so Mike's going to be talking to us about OneNote, which of course he is the master of. And so without further ado, we are going to pass straight over to Mike for an introduction and all the goodies that he's brought with him. Mike.
Hey, thanks, Stephen. And great to be here. Thanks for having me today. My name is Mike Tholfsen. I'm a product manager on the Microsoft Education team, and I do all things OneNote in education, and I also do inclusive classrooms and PD and some other stuff. But today's a OneNote day, so I've got my trusty cape on, my purple shirt, the appropriate background, and we're going to talk about what's coming out for back to school as well as some stuff that's coming soon. And so without further ado, what I'm going to do here is share my screen and give me just a moment. And Stephen, let me know if the screen is coming through okay. You should see a guy in a cape with lots of other people.
A handsome guy, you forgot.
Yeah, guy's pretty good looking. And if you're not on Twitter, or sorry, if you haven't followed me on Twitter in the past, feel free. I post lots of stuff on Twitter, both OneNote and all stuff education. So today, I'm going to walk through some useful links, some OneNote stuff, some class notebook stuff, and of course, good hygiene. Good hygiene is so important, and we're going to talk about best practices in good hygiene. Now, to start out, just at a high level, I like to always talk about why is OneNote in education? What's the big deal? What is the key value of using OneNote in education? And I think these are three good ones: saving time, being more organized, and collaborating more effectively. Just base level core things that OneNote is really helpful with. Now, one of the things I get asked all the time, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, is, hey, Mike, does the OneNote Windows 10 app have this feature? And hey, in OneNote Online, do you have that feature? Or does the Class Notebook toolbar on the iPad have this feature? Well, the good thing is we've got this glorious website. I call it the OneNote Matrix. It's a big list of platforms of OneNote and then features and checkboxes. It's very utilitarian, and you can just go and figure out what is where on each platform. And we always keep this updated. So bookmark this link if you're looking for what features exist on what platform of OneNote. The other one that's good is there's a support page we have that's the OneNote Ultimate page. This has, again, it's a big link farm, but it has all sorts of great stuff. The OneNote blog, it's got differences across platforms, things you can embed in OneNote, how to file a support ticket, blogs, videos, all sorts of great information. This is another one that's really good to bookmark. And the other one, I got into YouTube pretty late in the game, but when COVID started up, there was a really big demand for these really short videos to help educators and students too get up and running fast on learning things. So I recently, a couple of months ago, launched a YouTube channel, and the link is here. And I would encourage people to subscribe to it. I'm just going to flip over to it really quick just to show you. But what I've done is I've got a bunch of different products. So we've got Teams, of course. That's the most popular right now, is using Teams. Got inclusive classrooms and accessibility, PowerPoint, there's OneNote quick tip videos, ELL, a whole lot of stuff. And these are all typically 2 to 3 minute videos. They're really short and sweet, and they're very basic, but they can be very helpful if you're learning how to do something or you want to learn how to do something. So I would encourage you, go to that channel, check it out, and subscribe if you want to keep up. I'll be putting more and more videos out all across the, fall, winter, and spring.
So I'm going to jump in, Mike, because
Sure.
I've got to say, I get asked all the time for people to say, hey, do you have some kind of quick videos, things for my staff to use, teachers to use, even things of that. Guys, I'm telling you, this is a lead place you do not want to miss, because there are really great videos here that are short, to the point, and really spotlight what it is that you need so that you can use them effectively. So I'm super excited that you're here. So go ahead, Mike.
Thanks. Well, and if you want to get even, if you don't even have 2 or 3 minutes of time, if you only got 1 minute, I've been experimenting, and don't worry, I'm not dancing because that would be pretty bad. I'm a terrible dancer. But I started experimenting on TikTok, making 1-minute little videos. So if you want to experiment and try that and see what these look like, that's a 1-minute short and sweet PD video, and you can check those out as well. Now, to getting on to the updates. First off, and this is probably the most important for the classical version of, there's a lot of OneNote educators out there for many years, and we were going to slowly get rid of OneNote 2016 and the desktop version of OneNote. But due to overwhelming demand from educators and from enterprises, they said, hey, we want to keep our OneNote desktop. We love it. We want it improved. And the OneNote team listened, and it's coming back. It's actually getting rebuilt. It's going to be better, faster, stronger. It's going to have modern sync. And probably in winter of 2020 or early 2021, we'll have an updated version of the desktop. And it will come back and get installed with the regular Office desktop. And it will no longer be called 2016. They'll they'll update the name and the number in the future. But we'll be bringing things like modern sync, and we'll be bringing the math assistant and math tools. It'll have built-in dictation, the immersive reader. All these things in 2021 throughout the year will be coming into the desktop. So you can keep using the desktop, and it'll be coming back to the Office installation. So that's a good one, just in case you were confused about that. It's been brought back from, wasn't dead, but it was on the path to dead. It's been resurrected. The other thing that we just announced and we just launched is you can now put Adobe Spark videos right into OneNote. Adobe Spark videos are super popular. You can now embed them interactively. OneNote supports all these embeddings. You can also embed Adobe posts in there. And here's an example. So we're always adding more and more embeds to OneNote. And we just announced Adobe Spark video probably 2 weeks ago. Maybe it was only a week ago. So that's one to be aware of. Now, the next one I'm actually going to show a demo of, and this is one that I'm so excited about. This actually came from a hackathon inside of Microsoft maybe a year ago. And there were some interns working on this hackathon, and they brought it to our team, and we took it and we've sort of built it up, and we've added a few things and polished it a little bit. And it's something that's called OneNote Live Captions. And what does that mean? Well, think about, especially during remote learning, things like content retention, and I'm getting overwhelmed with information coming in. Maybe it's over the computer, my educator, the professor, the teacher is talking. Maybe it's I'm having a hard time focus and trying to take notes. Maybe I'm not sure what the teacher is saying. Thought I understood. I'm confused later. Maybe I don't speak the native language. Maybe I'm deaf or hard of hearing, and I have a challenge here. And with research, it shows that closed captions and interactive transcripts can improve student outcomes across the board for everyone. So this is a bit like inclusive design. It's going to really help people who are deaf and hard of hearing, or maybe non-native speakers, or ADHD, dyslexia, but it will help all people in terms of student outcomes and the ability to have closed captions and interactive transcripts. So I'm going to flip again to, let's see, I go here, and I'm in OneNote for the web. So OneNote Live Captions fuses together OneNote and Microsoft Translator. What does that mean? Well, Translator allows you to have one person talking. Let's say it's the educator. Educator is talking and presenting. And what you're going to see here is OneNote will connect to Microsoft Translator and pull in those captions in real time, and even pull them in a different language if I want. So I'm going to do a demo here. This is only in OneNote for the web right now. This is rolled out to our early TAP customers. So there are about 40 different school districts that have access to this. So it's in private beta. This will be rolling out more broadly later in winter. So I'm in OneNote for the web, and you can see I'm on the view menu. And there's a button way over here on the right that says Live Captions. And I'm going to click this. And it opens up this new pane. And it asks me for a join code. So I'm on my phone here. You can't probably see this, but I've got my phone, and I'm going to start a Microsoft Translator session. Microsoft Translator is a free app for iOS, for Android. It's in the web. And what it allows you to do is start a session that'll make a little join code. So I've just started my session, and I'm going to type in the join code here. It's RLTAE. So I will be presenter Mike, and I will be talking here, and I'm going to join this. You're going to have to put on your imagination caps because I'm going to try to pretend I'm two people. And I will be student Stephen, our fabulous host, Stephen Reed. We will pretend student Stephen is taking notes on geography. And so what I'm going to do is I will start talking into my phone as Professor Mike, and you should see the captions start coming into this OneNote that Stephen has.
Wow.
So Stephen is going to take notes while Mike is talking. And Stephen can do all those things just like he normally would in OneNote. And he can draw on the screen. Stephen would probably be doodling and drawing Minecraft stuff. He's like, oh, this block thing. Oh, that'd be amazing. Oh, the block. Yeah. So as student, now what happens is Mike is talking and Stephen says, whoa, I'm going to pause that. I missed something. And I click pause. So I'm still talking as the presenter. Here I'm talking, but Stephen is going to go in. And he's like, oh, I want to go highlight that part that I missed. And I think Professor Mike said this part was going to be on the test. I'm going to highlight this. And it's a little too small for me, so I want to make that bigger. Now, in the meantime, Professor Mike is continuing to talk, and student Stephen is worried. Oh, no, I've fallen behind. Don't worry, student Stephen. If you hit resume, everything that Mike was saying was already captured here on the right, so it captures everything. Now, in addition, because we are in OneNote, if I go over here to transcripts, you can see it automatically is saving that transcript. Oh, it hasn't saved yet, but it will be. We automatically save transcripts. And so every minute or so, what it will do is it'll capture that transcript and automatically save it with the date and the join code right here. So you can see it saved the early one. I was doing it in Danish. Because what's nice is I'm going to close this session here. And I'm going to try and come back again. And I'm going to start a different session, and we'll do it with a different language. So this time I'm going to choose live captions, and I'm going to stop this and start a brand new session. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have, let's see here, we'll have Stephen, once I enter the join code, I'm going to have you choose one of the languages. And Scottish doesn't count. I know it's sort of English, but it's not really. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Those sound like fighting words there, Stephen.
Teasing. I know, Stephen.
I tell you what, we do have a Welshman in the chat. So Barrymore from Wales. Why don't we see if Welsh is in there?
Well, by George, it is in there.
My goodness.
Okay. So I'm going to choose Welsh, and I'll hit join. Now I'm talking, and it should start coming through. Now let's see if it can translate the word hug, because my daughter says, I would like a cutch every night. There it is. Hey, it's nice.
Quick bit of feedback, Mike, before you go any further.
On the right-hand side, and hopefully it's doing a reasonable job translating as I'm talking. And just like before, I can pause it and resume and highlight.
That's fabulous.
So that's a demo of OneNote Live Captions. And we think this continues to make OneNote the most inclusive solution for notes on the planet. Because as a bonus, let's say here I want to hit the immersive reader on my, this is a Danish page. So I hit the immersive reader, and I can still do all those things that I was doing before. And, I can do a...
Dette er en test. Jeg tester det på engelsk, og det skal komme igennem på dansk.
Pretty awesome. All works, different languages.
So amazing. Mike, right? Could you not, I mean, even though we talk about this, could you not even be in English and be able to use this? Like if you have someone that needed to follow along and just be able to have later and have that kind of support?
Sorry, could they not even use English? You mean the educators talking in a different language?
No, I'm talking about if I even just want to record what is happening in transcript and want to be able to come back later as even a student that wants to have this recording and have these notes later or be able to hear what's going on later on. Could I not come back will it take it even in English and not translate it in a different language?
Yeah, I did. The first one I did was in English, where I just had on English on the right-hand side. So you can choose whatever language you want the captions to come through in. So I chose English first, and we chose Welsh second.
So that's what I just want to point out, because a lot of times when we think about all of these features and these kind of tools, we think only about access. If you were talking any student, this is what makes universal. When we say universal learning, this means all students who need this kind of support that can go back and trying to, especially now when we're trying to review this information and some of those more abstract kind of concepts we're trying to cover. This is another tool that just shows how universally these are designed for all learners in mind. So that's why I just kind of want to point out, because sometimes we get caught up just even in the translation for other languages and that we forget that even in those students that need that support, just listening, even if it's in their own language. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see it captured the transcript automatically in this section over here called transcripts, and it captured my highlights that I made while I made the highlights over here on the right-hand side. So this is in beta right now in the web, and it will be coming soon to the rest of OneNote, probably in winter, and we want to roll it out to all clients eventually. So we're really excited about OneNote Live Captions. The other one that's coming, we had to delay it a little bit due to COVID-19 and some other priorities, but OneNote Math is coming to the iPad in October. So the iPad will get the math solver, the Ink2Math, the immersive reader, all those great things coming to OneNote iPad in October. Okay, class notebook updates. There's some really cool stuff with Teams integration. Now, OneNote Class Notebook is the high-level version is it's a framework for teaching and learning inside of OneNote in terms of we create a whole structured OneNote for the class to collaborate in or have private notebooks in. So the teacher creates this class notebook inside of Teams in this case. It has a collaboration space, which is read-write for everyone. It has a content library, which is read-only for the students. And then every student gets a private space for their own that's like a private student notebook that only the teacher has access to. And so the OneNote Class Notebook has been around for, gosh, almost 6 years now, but it's really taken off inside of Teams and during COVID-19. And so we've been making more and more improvements to make that easier and better. So one thing is that you can now distribute a page into a nested section group. This just shipped, and this has been a top request. So what that means is, and I'll actually switch back to my demo here if I can find it. There we go. So I'm here in Teams in the web. I'm going to create an assignment, and we'll call it the nested demo. And I'm going to go and attach a resource, just like I normally would. And I'm going to go into Class Notebook here. And in this case, I've set up, again, this is for more experienced Class Notebook people, you know this. I've set up a set of nested section groups in my Class Notebook. And so I should be able to drill into those. We're not, maybe my Teams needs a refresh. But what I can do is I can assign a page into that nested section group. And then if I go into content library here and I pick a page, let's say I want to take a Unit 1 geography page and attach that. So I'm going to make an assignment and attach a page. Now, where do I want to distribute it to? This is the part that's new. It used to be that I could only distribute to sections here, but now you can see section groups, which are nested, and I could have multiples. Now I can drill in and put it, into the readings in Unit 1 or Unit 2. So it's really nice. It's a simple thing, but it just makes teachers' lives that much easier because this structure now matches the same structure that's in your OneNote Class Notebook. So I could do that and make the assignment and then assign it out. The other one that we just added was, let's say, I'm going to remove this one here. Let's say I want to make a new page or a new file. So in this case, it used to just be you could create a new Word, PowerPoint, or Excel that you wanted to push out to students. Well, we just added a OneNote Class Notebook page. So now I can say that, like, here's my, I've heard that Stephen is incredible with his haikus. So this one's for you, Stephen, the haiku template. And where do I want to create that page? We'll put it in Unit 2 readings and hit next. And then again, I can just distribute this page wherever I want. We'll just put it in handouts. I'll hit attach. So it creates a brand new page in the content library, and then it distributes it to all the students. So that is one that we just rolled out last week. And so we're excited on that one.
One of the questions coming in, Mike, sorry to interrupt. One of the questions, I mean, there's so many comments and so many questions. People are loving what you're saying. But one question that came in is this still inner tap, right? That's what they're saying.
Which, the new page for assignments?
Yeah.
No, that's out globally. The whole world has access to that. You could do it right now, I believe.
That's awesome. And what about the dictation?
The which one? The OneNote Live Captions?
Yes.
OneNote Live Captions is only in the TAP program, and it's only in OneNote Web for TAP.
Right, okay. That's great. Good, just clarification for everyone. Thanks, Mike. Carry on.
And this one is already shipped too. So distributing a page into a section group that I showed, that is out fully now too. That's fully. Another one that is, it got delayed by a week or two. It'll be out in probably 2 weeks. I call this feature the Dr. Kellerman feature, for those of you that know Dr. David Kellerman. And this is when I have a class notebook and I'm in Teams. When you create a channel in Teams, it also creates a notes section in the collaboration space. So what it does is if you have like 4 different project teams, you create a new channel, project team 1, project team 2, project team 3. It creates those sections called project team 1 notes, project team 2 notes, etc. in the collaboration space. And for some teachers, that's exactly what they want. But other teachers use channels to teach with units. So you might have channel unit 1, channel unit, channel 2, channel 3, and those are units, and you don't want those to show up. You want your lecture notes to be in there, but you want them to essentially be read-only. You don't want students to mess with it. So what you'll be able to do is go into your class notebooks. Under the Manage Notebook settings, you will see there's going to be this new interface that lets you set the default location for the Notes tab. So you could say the default has always been collaboration space, but the new option, the Kellerman option, is make all of those new channel notes in the content library, which is the students can only view it. So that's great if you're always putting lecture notes in the channel. This will work perfect for that. So that's coming out in about 2 weeks. And the other one, this is a small thing, but we know that people weren't always 100% aware, where does that notes channel go? So when I create a new channel called Further Study here, it makes a notes channel, but people weren't always sure, like, where is that showing up? We just made it more clear. So the default thing that you'll see the first time, if you have it going to the collaboration space, will say, content added here will live in your class notebooks collaboration space. And you click Start Collaborating, and you'll be on the page. Same thing with content library. If you go here and it's a content library, it'll tell you. So it just makes that mental connection a little bit stronger. So Stephen, this is the one that I think will be helpful for, this is on our blog, take a photo too if you want. These Perfect. Are all the updates that we just announced. There's a couple I'll talk through. There's not really pictures to show. But one of them is page distribution speed. We've dramatically sped up the class notebook page distribution speed, anywhere from 60% to 90% faster, depending on your scenario. That's live now. So you should see much quicker page distributions than in the past, which I'm personally excited about because I know they were kind of slow sometimes. We also have automatic school data sync roster updates to the class notebook. What does that mean? Well, let's say that school data sync, which is our automated rostering tool, if 2 new students join your class, they will automatically update the class notebook roster now. You don't have to go up to the class notebook tab and click it. It'll just automatically populate. So that's a really nice time saver. And then the last one is the teacher only section group, which you used to have to go manually enable every time. We've just turned that on by default. So in your class notebook, the teacher only area will automatically be turned on no matter what, and just saves you an extra click and makes it more clear. Okay, we're going to wrap up with very appropriate in the age of COVID, best practices and good hygiene. What does that mean? Well, first off, if you are one of those educators who has not updated your OneNote build in 2 years, it turns out that we have shipped some updates that make your OneNote better, faster, and smarter. We're talking about the desktop version of OneNote. And so definitely this blog here, I think they're going to put it in the chat and follow up as well. Go to this blog on how to update your OneNote and best practices. I made a little quick tip video, like a 1-minute video on how to do that. But if you get on the latest builds, which some of you are and some of you might not be, but that quick update can make your OneNote even more efficient and take lesser load and do a few other nice things behind the scenes. The other thing is your add-in. So if you haven't updated, if you use the desktop, again, we're talking about OneNote 2016. If you have not updated your class notebook add-in in the last year or two, it's another good one. We made some improvements. There's some things that the new add-in has that will simplify some things. So you'll want to update that add-in. It takes all of like 30 seconds. There's a quick tip video on that, and that's also in the blog as well. Then this is the one about the good hygiene and best practices. So, Jerry and I were sort of laughing, not a sad laugh, but like a ha ha ha. Oh, I hope they don't keep doing that laugh. Where there are some people who dump everything in the world into OneNote. They dump giant videos. They dump big documents. They treat OneNote like a file system. And when you do that, it can make your OneNote slower and faster. But also, if you're trying to distribute really giant files around, that can slow down the network. That can lead to page distribution problems. And so really want to think inserting links to big files wherever you can is a really good practice. So put it in OneDrive, put a link to it, and distribute the page, but just put the link. You don't need to necessarily put a 50 megabyte embed into OneNote. Printing stuff is still okay because printing is useful if you want to annotate on it, but putting out giant files is kind of a no-no if you want to have good hygiene. And distributing pages with large files is also a no-no if you want to have good hygiene. The other one is just with the audio and video. Keep those more concise. You can embed videos into OneNote. You can embed YouTube. You can embed Flipgrid. You can embed Stream. But trying to avoid really giant videos and really giant audio in OneNote is another one where that can just balloon things and make it even harder for your OneNote to do its best, you could say. So we have more best practices. There's a link in an article here. I think they're going to put it into the chat as well. But that's the recommendation on good hygiene. So here are some of the links that we have. And I talked about, I believe, most of these already. But if you want to take a picture of this and check these out, they're all there. They're also going to be in the chat. I think Charles getting a set of links to make sure everyone has them. And they'll probably be in the description of the video as well. But definitely take advantage of all these resources, especially during back to school. Share them with your colleagues. Make sure that your school knows about them.
If you found this video useful, give it a like. Now, if you want to keep up with all the latest quick tip videos that I'll keep releasing, subscribe to my channel and then just ring the bell so you get notified for all the new videos that post.